Good day, everyone. Our topic is the teacher as a curriculum designer. I am Dr. Irvin R. Atencillo. So, for our learning outcomes for the week, identify the fundamentals of curriculum designing, determine curriculum designs and the approaches to the designs, and analyze the approaches in the light of how these are applied in the school setting. So, for our lesson outline, first, we are going to discuss the fundamentals of curriculum designing and approaches to designing. So let us now begin with fundamentals of curriculum designing. These are the building on Peter Oliva's 10 axioms for curriculum designers. So as a teacher, we are also curriculum designer. So the first one is curriculum change is inevitable, necessary, and desirable. So meaning to say that there will always be a change in the curriculum based on the previous topic that I have discussed in the video tutorials that I have uploaded. Um, Part of a curriculum, there could be a bigger curriculum or a wider curriculum, like for example, the curriculum in high school, curriculum in the basic education, like for example, the K-12 curriculum. So before the K-12 curriculum, there is the another curriculum that was replaced by the K-12 curriculum. But prior to that, there is also another curriculum. So meaning to say that the curriculum, the changes in in the curriculum is always there. It is necessary because we have to adapt to changes. Like for example, the implementation of the K-12 curriculum. Um, Before our implementation of the senior high school of grades 11 and 12, there were only three countries who are not yet implementing the K-12 curriculum or, yeah, the K-12 curriculum. So perhaps right now, there are only two since we are already implementing it. So it is desirable because there is a reason behind changes in the curriculum, and it is always for the better. So another is curriculum is a product of its time. Yeah, just like what I have mentioned a while ago, um, that the curriculum that we have right now is based on the different experiences that we had before. Let us put that in the context of um, a classroom teacher, just like you. So you have your lesson plan, and your lesson plan, so the one that you have made a night before or a week before, is based on the different experiences that you have as a teacher. So when you're a young teacher, perhaps you can only make a very simple lesson plan. But when you grow into the field, no, and you have gained a lot of experiences, you will see that there are changes in the way you make lesson plans, in the way you interact with your students. So yeah, it is the product of your own time. Curriculum changes made earlier can exist concurrently with new curriculum changes. So just like what happened before in the implementation of the K-12 curriculum, the Department of Education did not immediately change the entire curriculum, but there were a time when the old curriculum existed with the new curriculum. So, for example, when they change a first year high school into grade 7, so the first uh, The first year high school was replaced by grade 7, but still in the higher year there is second year high school, third year high school, and fourth year high school. And then the following year, the grade 7 became grade 8, and the second year become third year, and so on. So you have there the grade 7, and then the grade 8, and you have the third year, and then the fourth year. And then the following year, the 7 and 8 became 8 and 9, then another batch of grade 7. And then you have your fourth year high school. Up to the time that all of the grade levels were changed already. So right now, our first batch of the senior high school way back 2016 are now in the fourth year college. So imagine that. So there's of course an explanation why there is a need for the concurrent existence of the old and the new curriculum. Well, of course, you cannot just change everything. So there are still knowledge, no, or even a certain pattern that we can be able to get from the old curriculum. So another is curriculum change depends on people who will implement the change. So for so many years, there is always that plan to change our 10-year basic education into 12 years. But only then, during the time of the previous administration, when there was that political will in order to change it. So then, therefore, the first step here is about the people who will implement the change. And then, of course, from the top administration, it will be given to those who are in the front lines, and these are the teachers. No, so um, the kind of changes that we have in the curriculum, specifically in the K-12 curriculum, these are because of those teachers who have implemented it. So if the teachers can implement it properly according to the plan, then therefore there will be better results, better than the old curriculum. However, on the other hand, let's say for example, the teacher do not know what to do. For example, the teacher did not listen to any instruction given to them. Then there will be poor implementation of the curriculum changes that will lead into poor result. And then therefore, curriculum change depends on those people who will implement the change. And then perhaps you will remember the one of the roles of teacher as curricularists is that we are initiators. So whenever there are changes in the curriculum, we are the ones implementing them since we are in the front line. PIP is curriculum development is a cooperative group activity. Yes, of course, no. Curriculum development is not a one-man job. It is composed of different people who are experts in the field. There is that there is a planner, there is an implementer, there are people who can be able to make the curriculum better. In fact, we even consulted other countries before the actual implementation of the K-12 curriculum. So curriculum development is a decision-making process made from choices of alternative. Yes, of course, no, whenever we plan, there will always be that plan B, that plan C, that plan D, and so on. So even in the development of the curriculum, it is a decision-making process. Decision-making because whatever curriculum that the Philippine will implement, it will surely affect the future generation. Are they going to have a job after graduation in the high school or in the college? And so on and so forth. And there will also be alternative. So meaning, whatever we have right now in the K-12 curriculum, These are the winning choices. Okay, so that means that during the selection of this curriculum development, perhaps there are also other alternatives. Curriculum development is an ongoing process, so it doesn't mean that you already have the Kindle curriculum, it will stop there. No, every year or even sometimes every quarter, there are changes in the curriculum. So they send changes by, let's say, by DepEd order or by DepEd memorandum. Okay? So curriculum development is more effective if it is a comprehensive process than rather than a piecemeal. Yes, of course. So it is comprehensive. It is not just a one piecemeal or certain package wherein everything are in there already. So it is a comprehensive process. So it is complex. It is there are a lot of things that are being considered before there is that curriculum development. And curriculum development is more effective when it follows a systematic approach. So the one who will implement the curriculum should know what are the steps in the implementation of the curriculum development. What's the first step, second step, and so on. So that's why it is known as systematic. That means that whenever they do something, it should be step one, step two, step three, step four, and so on. Curriculum development starts from where the curriculum is. Yes, of course. No. So you cannot just go to other countries, for example, and look for our own curriculum. So wherever you have started the curriculum development, then therefore there is curriculum there. You cannot start in the absence of the curriculum. So these are the 10 axioms. So let us now proceed to the elements or components of a curriculum design. So as a designer, no, as a planner, these are the things that we have to remember. So there will always be behavioral objectives or intended learning outcomes. And of course, you have to use the acronym SMART, no, in the formulation of your behavioral objectives or intended learning outcomes. On the other hand, it depends upon on the institution where you are working, no. So sometimes they can do uh, the knowledge, no, or yun. Now, anyway, whenever you make objectives, it should always follow the three category. First one is your cognitive or the knowledge part, no, and then the affective part or the values part, and then the psychomotor part or the skills part. For the content, content and or subject matter, references, teaching and learning methods, and assessment and evaluation. So these are the elements or components of a curriculum design. There will always be the ILO or behavioral objectives, should also always have content or subject matter. References, make sure that it is always updated. Teaching and learning methods, those teaching methods that you will be using, and your assessment or evaluation. Now, let us move on to approaches to curriculum designing. These are the types of curriculum design models. So first is subject-centered design. So this model focuses on the content of the curriculum. So since it is subject-centered design, so it is more about content. So I want you to think of your subject that you think is a subject-centered design. Okay? The subject-centered design corresponds mostly to the textbook written for the specific subject since it is a subject-centered design. So students are given books, especially during the pandemic. And then you can see there that it is more into the subject itself. Okay? So the subject-centered curriculum can be focused on traditional areas in the traditional discipline, interdisciplinary topics that touch on a wide variety of fields, on processes such as problem solving, on the goal of teaching students to be critical consumers of information. So these are um, more into subject focus, no? In the college, there are also other subjects that are subject centered. So if there are a lot of content, if there are a lot of problem solving processes, so perhaps what the professor is doing is that it is a subject centered design. Okay, so these are the examples of subject centered design. One is subject design. The drawback of this design is that sometimes learning is so compartmentalized. So meaning to say, whatever topic there is, that will only be the topic. So you cannot go on to another topic. So it stresses so much the content that it forgets about students' natural tendencies, interests, and experiences. So no more consideration about interests and experiences. What matter here is that it is more about the content. Another is discipline design. Discipline refers to the specific knowledge and through a method which the scholars use to study specific content of their field. So when we speak of discipline, we are talking about the specific content area. So it could be science, math, English. Yeah. So that's a discipline design. Another is coordination design. This comes from a core coordinated curriculum design that links separate subjects design in order to reduce fragmentation. So subjects are related to one another, but each subject maintains identity. Okay, not identifying, but identity. So correlation design, there is the correlation for example, here is the subject design. No, so subjects are actually connected to one another. So which among the subjects that you have in high school that you think are related to each other? Okay, another is broad field interdisciplinary design. So this design was made to prevent the compartmentalization of subjects and integrate the contents that are related to each other. So that means that you have to identify what are the different topics in the subjects that can be integrated to the contents of other subjects. So for example, you may let's say your subject is English, so which of your topics can be connected to other field? Or if your subject is science, what subject can you relate the content? No, so yeah. So another design is learner-centered design. So centered on certain aspects of the learner themselves. So the first one is subject-centered design. So the center is the subject. So this time it is about the students. So may explore the learner's own life or family history or local environment. So it anchored on the needs and interests of the child. So in the learner-centered design, much focus is given on the needs of the students in interest. And the learner is not considered as a passive individual, but as one who engages with his or her environment. One learns by doing. Learners interact with the teachers and the environment. Okay. So um, another type of learner-centered design is experience-centered design. Experiences of the learners become the starting point of the curriculum. Thus, the school environment is left open and free. Learners are made to choose from various activities that the teacher provides, and the learners are empowered to shape their own learning from the different opportunities given by the teacher. So another type of learner-centered design is experience-centered design. So the starting point of the curriculum is based on the experiences of the learners. So that's why sometimes we give pre-test to the students so that we can know what are the knowledge that they have gained in the previous years of learning. Thus, the school environment is left open and free, and learners are made to choose from various activities that the teacher provides. Okay, so these are all self-explanatory. So another learner-centered design is humanistic design. So the development of self is the ultimate objective of learning. It stresses the whole person in the integration of thinking, feeling, and doing. It considers the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains to be interconnected and must be addressed in the curriculum. It also stresses the development of positive self-concept and interpersonal skills. Okay, so that's why it is humanistic. No, so look at that. So it's more about dealing with people immediately. No, uh, there's also the integration of thinking, feeling, and knowing. Okay, so another one is problem-centered design. So we are already done with that of subject-centered and learner-centered. So this time is this problem-centered design. So problem-centered curriculum or problem-based learning organizes subject matter around a problem, real or hypothetical, that needs to be solved. So that means that there is an organization of the subject matter that can be utilized in order to solve a problem. So the problem set by the teacher could be a real problem or a hypothetical problem. And problem-centered curriculum is inherently engaging and authentic. Engaging because students are involved, and authentic because they will learn on their own. Because the students have a real purpose to their inquiry, which is solving the problem. These are the different designs under problem-centered design. Life situation design. It uses the past and present experiences of learners as means to analyze the basic areas of living. So imagine you'll be asking your learners about their past and present experiences. As a starting point, the pressing immediately problems of the society and the students' existing concern are utilized, so it can be used. So based on Herbert Spencer's curriculum writing, his emphasis were activities that sustain life, enhance life, and in rearing children, maintain the individual social and political relations, and enhance leisure tasks and feelings. The connection of subject matter to real situations increases the relevance of the curriculum. So another problem-centered design is the core design. It centers on general education and the problems are based on common human activities. So core design is a very basic set of design. So the focus of the core design includes common needs, problems, concerns of the learners. Okay, so these are the other approaches to curriculum design. Child or learner-centered approach. So what is the principle behind? Acknowledge and respect the fundamental rights of the child. Okay, so when you are acknowledging the fundamental rights of the child, then therefore your approach is a learner-centered approach. Make all activities revolve around the overall development of the learner. Consider the uniqueness of every learner in a multicultural classroom. Consider using differentiated instruction or teaching. So the differentiated instruction or teaching will give emphasis on the learner-centered approach because if, for example, you have 10 students, no, you are going to ensure that these 10 can be able to answer selected activities based on their needs and interests. So provide a motivating, supportive environment for all the learner. So we also have subject-centered approach. Principles, the primary focus is the subject matter. So that's why it is subject-centered approach. The emphasis is on bits and pieces of information which may be detached from life. Since it is about subject-centered, the subject matter serves as a means of identifying problems of living. Learning means accumulation of content or knowledge. Teacher's role is to dispense the content. So we are the source of content. However, these are the principles that the students may use in order for them to be able to go to. Okay, another is subject-centered approach. Principles of this is the primary focus is the subject matter, just like the design. The emphasis is on its bits and pieces of information which may be detached from life. So that's why if you are going to use subject-centered approach, make sure that you are already an expert in the content. And the subject matter serves as a mean of identifying problems of the living. And learning means accumulation of content or knowledge. And teacher's role is to dispense the content. So that's why you must be an expert in your field. So it doesn't matter if you are, let's say, you are a graduate of this and that, because since you'll be teaching students, no, make sure that you can be able to utilize this knowledge, no, in dispensing content. So meaning to say that the delivery of the content will rely much on the function of the teacher. Okay, so the last one is problem-centered approach. Principles include the learners are capable of directing and guiding themselves in resolving problems, thus developing every learner to be independent. So one thing about problem-centered approach is that it leads into the uh, students to become more independent. So because they will try to solve the problems on their own. So the learners are prepared to assume their civic responsibilities through direct participation in different activities. So in this case, there is a need for the partnership between the school and the barangay uh, government unit. And the curriculum leads the learners in the recognition of concerns and problems in seeking solutions. Learners are problem solver themselves. That's right. So thank you so much for watching our video. So see you again next time. For reference, we have Bilbao P. et al. 2015 Curriculum Development for Teachers, Metro Manila, Lorimar Publishing House. Thank you so much, everyone.